Hello and welcome back to BlizzCon in the HGC 2018 finals. We're 2 matches in, we got 2 more to go. It's been incredible so far. We watched Gen G advance over the 1, and then just recently Team Liquid take a 2-1 win over Heroes Hearth Esports. That was an incredible match. We had Lost Vikings, we had incredible Towers of Doom games. It's been awesome. How are you guys doing in the house right now? All right, 2 more matches to go, guys. Up next, Tempo Storm, the last North American hope, versus Dignitas. It's a big one. I hope you're ready for it. I know I'm ready. We're headed over to the desk with Trixler right now.
Thank you, Kevin. Oh my golly. We just had HGC and Team Liquid face off. It was a beautiful match that went to game number 3. Sadly, HGC will be falling out of the tournament, but we still have one hope for North America, and that will be in the form of Tempo Storm. Over here to the left, I got Skimmy, J-Hal, and Caldor to talk up the series, as Tempo Storm will be taking on Dignitas. Skimmy, where is your stakes in this series?
Kevin says it's the last hope for NA, and I think he nails it on the head right there. You know, he's a North American fan himself. I think he's almost seen the future, because I look at this one and I go, Dignitas are better on every different aspect.
Sure.
I think that Tempo Storm haven't shown us too much. Anything creative, I think they need to really jump into that Pandora's box. I'm talking Zol, I'm talking double tank, I'm talking Uther supports, becoming tanks. I want to see something crazy and wild to really try and throw Dignitas off here, because if they play standard, I don't expect it.
J-Hal, I'm going to allow a little bit of bias right now. Tempo Storm, can they do it?
Well, here's the thing, right? So I said to Cattle, I said, how wild is tomorrow getting? I talked to him last night, I asked Fan, and they grinned and they said, it's getting pretty wild. That's all I can tell you. They didn't reveal anything, but I imagine that we will still go down the rabbit hole with Tempo Storm. Dignitas, though, they're a team that adapts to literally everything. They have probably the best player in the world in Wubby, who is their drafter. He does a lot from the offlane. I don't think this is a team like Dignitas that gets phased by anything out of the ordinary.
Caldor, let's go and take a look at the bracket, but since I allowed J-Hal some bias, let's hear your thoughts.
Hashtag no bias right here. No, but just talking about Tempo Storm, I feel if Tempo Storm goes down the rabbit hole, they are playing meta, because so far when you look at players on the stage, we've only seen them with G-strats and double support. I actually talked to them yesterday a little bit, and I really think that the Lucio strategy they pulled out on Cursed Hollow, where they were trying to run around the opponent and just snipe structures, I think it was wasted played against Gen G. I think it's a great strategy. I think it's something that I really appreciate as a team having it in their arsenal. And I asked them straight up, guys, do you not think that that might have been a strategy you should have pulled out a bit later? And they were like, yeah, maybe, we weren't quite sure. We're hoping to get a win against Gen G, where they didn't quite work out, but maybe against Dignitas they have a shot.
Well, here's the schedule so far. We are about to start the lower half of the tournament, but already Gen G and the One has faced off. Gen G takes an easy 2-0 there. We'll be moving to the semifinals, and then a solid best-of-3 between Heroes Hearth and Team Liquid. Team Liquid able to bring it out, but Heroes Hearth sure came out firing there, Skimmy.
I mean, it was a really close game. I know us on the back stage there was on our feet, you know, just dancing around thinking, what is going on right here? Especially some of those moments with the Lost Vikings, we're thinking that core rush, it looked pretty crazy at times. I'm thinking, hang on a minute, like they're getting keeps, are they going to win this game? Then it goes back and forth, back and forth. It finally finishes in this massive, massive core race. But, you know, we expected that to be the series, or at least I did anyway, the series to watch of the day. The crowd got behind it and it didn't disappoint.
Well, talking about tomorrow, let's talk about Gen G versus Team Liquid a little bit. J-Hal, that series is going to be a nail-biter.
It's going to be exciting just because of what Team Liquid has managed to accomplish during the opening week. We already know they took the game off of Gen G, the only team to do so during the opening week. But all signs are trending positive for Team Liquid. For Gen G, though, it still feels like they have not shown much of anything. So tomorrow's matchup, to me, is very exciting for many reasons.
Well, let's go ahead and focus on our players here, as Glorong and Xaylia are going to step in and drop some knowledge bombs on you. And Xaylia, he's got some words for Glorong. Xaylia.
I think opening week has been a pretty good experience overall. I mean, this part of BlizzCon is always great because you get to see all the personalities from other regions and all the players who you make friends with over the year. And it's like that final clash where you get to see how far everyone's come and how much everyone's grown. So I really like that aspect of opening week, and that was really satisfying. So we played Dignitas first on the stage in Anaheim, and while most people would be pretty scared to face them right away, I kind of view it as, if we're going to win the tournament anyways, we'll have to face them, and I'd rather face Dignitas in a best-of-3 than a best-of-5. So in terms of winning the tournament, it's actually a pretty optimistic outlook. It's like the best scenario for us in the case where we do run into Dignitas. So They are a super formidable team, and it's going to be a really hard match, but we'll have the atmosphere and the crowd of NA behind us, and also we'll be facing them in a best of 3.
Our group stage run was nothing less of incredible. It was went 10-0, perfect score. We had rough games. You know, we're almost kind of known to start slowly now, but we made it work. And then we always came back in the second game and smashed them. So 10-0 it is, and we definitely look forward to the playoffs. First round is going to be tempo. We've seen them do a lot of things like double sport, Illidan. They have a lot of tricks, but Glorung, if you're out there, if you try to pull out the Illidan on us, we're going to take your glaives and shove them up your The crowd at BlizzCon is incredible. I was here last year as well, knocked out quite quickly, but even in that best of 3 first round, it was packed. There were so many people. You just look out and there's this sea of excited fans and everybody just, you know, getting pumped together about something that we all love. Incredible feeling just walking out there, sitting down, and wow, I cannot even describe it. It's just incredible.
All right, friends of BlizzCon, now is the time. We need to lend these teams our energy. In the red corner, the last hope for North America, it is Tempo Storm! And in the blue corner, returning to the BlizzCon stage, the best team out of EU, Dignitas! All right, captains, you know the deal. Center stage to shake hands. All right, guys, this is gonna be a good one. Stick around, over to the desk.
What a series we are about to watch. If we're looking at Tempo Storm, there is 2 things that I think you need to consider here. One, they have an interesting take on the meta. 70% of their group stages had double support in some form, Caldor. Does Tempo Storm stick to their guns here, or do they bring out new weapons?
I think they have to bring something new for sure, and I was actually surprised that they went that wild in the group stage. I expected them to bring some of those strategies out for sure, but I didn't really think that they would do it so continuously as they did, because by now, at least towards the end of the group stage, they felt pretty predictable, and I feel that was a huge problem. So if they have anything prepared here, they need to show it right now, and it has to differ from what they've already shown us on a daily basis.
Jay, how the second thing that Tempo Storm has going for them is this crowd. They are on home field advantage. North America is cheering for the teams. You heard with HGC. How does Tempo Storm empower themselves with that crowd?
Well, we've seen a lot of prioritization. Fan, he made some pretty bold comments before this tournament unfolded. There's times where it's looked like he lives up to that, but then as a team, it looks like they falter. And I think a lot of it is being on Playmaking Heroes, living up to that self-imposed hype you gave yourself, and I think they can get behind and really have that crowd rally behind them.
Now, Dignitas has felt unstoppable. If we look at the Western Clash and also the group stages, they are actually 22-0 on LAN so far. That is a pretty darn good record. Tempo Storm facing off against that, Skimmy. How do you even wrap yourself around that and decide how to break it?
I mean, you're looking at this series, as I mentioned already, right? You know that this team is very formidable in the West, arguably the best Western team that we have right now in Heroes of the Storm. You need to bring out those new weapons. You need something different. You've shown that you want to play these double supports. You want to try and work some quirky strats. We're going to see some very interesting bans and picks, I'm sure, in that regard. But, you know, you're not going to beat them toe-to-toe, in my opinion. You really need to bring out something. And as Glaron quite rightly mentioned, you know, they have a North American crowd that obviously fuels this momentum, the amount of sort of like charisma they have amongst them, but also they'll need it so they can actually just really execute on a forefront of, well, hey, this is North America.
Sure.
Let's get it done.
Let's go over to you, Jay-Hal, really quickly on both these teams. Strongest attribute to both of them.
The confidence that Dignitas has is very much warranted. It's amazing, and having Wubby there, you know, just kind of helping call the shots, getting the drafts. I mean, he alone could be the biggest asset of any team. That's how good he is, but I'd say confidence for Dignitas especially.
Well, let's go ahead and focus on players here. I'm going straight to Fan. Fan, who has already mentioned that he feels like he's one of the best flexes in the world, and boasting a hero pool of 15 heroes in the second phase of HGC. This guy plays a lot of characters, but will it be enough today, Caldor?
I'm not so sure. To be honest, if you look at the group stage, Tempo Storm barely made it. They came in and they said, we are in the group where we want to be in. We would rather face Miracle than Tempest. We would rather face off against Team Liquid than against the Leftovers. Both of those matches, they lost. They only beat BTG and they took down Luna Meow.
Sure.
So they barely made it into the next round. So they have to really show now that they have something prepared here. And I agree with Skimmy. They have to surprise Dignitas somehow. But how do you surprise Dignitas? That's the biggest question here, because I certainly don't have an answer to that.
No. Part of it is when you're playing these double support compositions, you don't have the macro aspect down because you don't have that wave clear available. And a lot of teams seem to be exploiting that, especially with the Sergeant Hammer coming in. So maybe the adjustment comes down to the hero pools, and maybe we stop running that double support.
Well, I mean, the whole part of going to where we're going, I mean, it almost feels like if you're going to out-macro them, just kind of take control of things, like the Cursed Hollow strategy, it seemed like you tried to do everything but teamfight. It seems like you tried to make a lot of plays happen.
Sure.
And I don't know if you can do that against Dignitas. They're such a good team at adapting to literally everything. They're that good.
Yeah.
It's so hard to really come up with a strategy to fool them at any stage of the game.
Well, let's find out if Tempo Storm can pull it off. Battleground number 1 is ready to go between our teams. Let's see where exactly we will be heading. First Battleground is going to be Volskaya Foundry.
And that's already my first question. It's Tempo Storm who actually picks the map. And I have to ask you here, Jehao, this is a map that Dignitas has run in the European region 13 times. They lost a single time on this map. And for Tempo, traditionally speaking at least, it's not their strongest map by any means. What makes that choice happen here?
I really wish I had an answer for you, because I'm on the page with you. If I see Dignitas on the other side, the last map that I want to start with is Volskaya. And if we're going down the weird category, this is not a map you get away with stuff on. You mess up on that very first control point, that is such a mountain to climb to get back in. It's so difficult. I'm really eager to see. There's only one strategy that I know. If you see it, this crowd will light up, but we'll see if it happens.
But it begs the question though, Jehao, right? You know, there has to be something, as we've already pointed out, something unique that Tempo Storm have prepared it. Because if I'm looking at those map bans and what's available, I would be thinking Tempo Storm want to go for Dragon Shire. It is their map. It's something that they're very, very comfortable on. So we're going to have to see exactly what comes out here.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're going up against Dignitas, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a map where they're bad at. But this is a map that they played so often because they prefer to play here. But I agree with Jehao. I think this is a map where Tempo Storm has to have something prepared. The problem that I see with it is that Dignitas has faced in the European setup so much stuff here. They faced Vikings, they faced Avatar compositions. I don't think there was anything that wasn't thrown against Dignitas. So even with an early Avatar pick here for Tempo Storm, I honestly don't know if they can surprise Dignitas on this map specifically.
Look, all I gotta say is if you're in the crowd, just wait. Just wait.
All right then, Avatar,
This is
Junkrat.
Just wait. This could get very interesting very quickly.
But it's lends a hand once again, though, to the point that Glowrung mentions about it's a best of 3. So if they are going to try and draft quirky strats and try and start off here with Volskaya Foundry, yeah, you want that surprise element, but also if you can get that win against Dignitas in game number 1, you're trying to really exude that confidence and say, look, this is your map, this is something that you're very comfortable on, we've beaten you, we've gotten something so out of the ordinary, out of the range of possibilities that now you're thinking, hang on a minute, are we underprepared? Are we really able to get surprised?
It's the one point that Glowrung actually made in the interview too, where he said, I would rather face Dignitas in a best of 3 than in a best of 5. And I totally agree with that point.
Yeah.
If you beat, as Tempo Storm, Dignitas, it's because you are surprising them, and in the best of 3, that's always easier than making it work on 5 maps.
Is this possibly an Arthas ban here? Ooh, they go to the Johanna, but Arthas has been a mainstay for Tempo Storm, and double Arthas, which is available through that Ultimate Evolution, is quite a terrifying composition.
Here we go.
Honestly, I am
Just
not
forget the
worried
control
for a
point. I agree that this is a very high execution comp.
Sure, but this is also a composition that Dignitas has faced multiple times in Europe.
Exactly, like against another team I would have said, okay, yeah, how do they deal with this? You have a false set flying around, you can snipe anything on the map with the Samuro, with the Avatar clone. The problem is not only did Dignitas actually run that, they faced it several times. So they look at this and they immediately know what they're facing here. And they're not even hesitating with the last 3 picks. They're not surprised, at least they're maybe surprised, but they're not shocked. They're looking at this and they're saying, okay, we know how to respond here. So I like the aspect from Tempo Storm focusing on macro, but I think if they were hoping on an element of surprise and seeing Dignitas without any clue, they are out of luck here.
What?
Let's go!
Okay, they haven't seen this.
Let's
they
go!
have not seen this. Murky 5th pick coming out for Tempo Storm. The last time we had a Murky at BlizzCon back in 2015. Brought out here in 2018.
It's almost like fans like, I'm back. This is what I used last time. I'm going to use it again. I've never lost at BlizzCon, so I'm not going to let that trend start now.
Keldor.
I told you to wait for it.
No.
You don't think so? I mean, the way.
No, don't get me wrong. I like the approach. It's different, and we talked a lot about how NA has had in this season the tendency to go really through the ringer when it comes to hero picks. And you will stumble upon strategies where you say, this has a strength. And I do not doubt in the slightest that if you have that particular setup, that against teams that are a little bit less experienced, you have a very good chance of getting a win. The only reason why I'm really just flat out saying, like, this is not going to happen is because Dignitas has run against so many cheese strategies, and they are experienced against this setup. I don't doubt the lineup against the lesser team has a really good chance of winning, but I think against Dignitas need more than that.
Even if it's not enough, the one thing that we guaranteed as a show, I mean, Tempo Storm is coming in here, they're like, you know what? We're just reaching into our bag of tricks. Let's play it all. I mean, let's literally play it all.
It's coming out here, and if Dignitas does drop the ball at any point, I can see this really working out for them. Let's go ahead and go into the series here as game number 1 between Tempo Storm and Team Dignitas begins now.
Skimmy, I don't know about you, but this... I didn't expect this really to come out, but it's here. We've got Murky, we've got Abathur, we've got Samuro. I mean, you go into your bag of whatever else comes out. It's like quick match for these guys. This is crazy.
Look, I said at the start of the series, I wanted to see that Pandora box go in and just obliterate it. You're finding everything. You're getting shards, you're putting them together, you're mashing them into place like a puzzle, and you want something stylish to come out here. And BlizzCon is going to be rewarded with one of the spiciest drafts to start off the second NA versus EU matchup.
Well, here is Europe's favorite, is that's going to be JPL. His last run, he'll be on Diablo, Wubby on Urel, Poik. He's going to keep it standard. He'll be on the Raynor, Snitch on Phoenix, Zelia on Tyrande. Give it up for Dignitas!
And on the right-hand side, in the red, the last hope of North America, it's going to be Jun on Abathur. Then playing Junkrat. Caterpillar, he's on Murky. Fan is on Falstead. And Galarung's on Samuro. Give it up for Tempo Storm!
Well, this is history right here. I can't say that I've seen anything like this since those Cloud9 days. We're going to see if history can repeat itself. As Cattle says, you know what? I'm going to play every type of tank possible. Everybody's seen me on tank support. This time I'm going to play Murky tank.
It's such an interesting composition, though, Jay, how it's, as the desk has already mentioned, you're really looking to accelerate in the macro department, just completely sacrifice those team fights. You know that Dignitas are very strong in that area. You obviously got the control points to skirmish around, but you want that pressure. You just want to keep them pushed into those lanes and have them always with that sort of anxious thought in their mind. How do we react? How do we deal? But, you know, it's going to be a tough one.
This is such an interesting map to pull this style of strategy out. The protectors are so strong, they cannot be ignored. I'm curious what Tempo Storm has up their sleeve, because we've never seen a draft like this on a map like this. We've seen it in different departments, and right out of the gate, we're seeing JPL, he'll go in, Cattle will make his rotation down. Samuro, we know that has great sieging capabilities. We've seen the clones, we have seen bits and pieces of this in Europe and across the globe, but never to this extent.
Well, both teams going to go for the items, going to look for those turrets for that point control. Dignitas will be playing this one safely to start things off with. They want to get, obviously, some point control of their own, some map control, I should really say, to try and even out this very first control point. But you see Fan dropping on down. It's going to be Dignitas picking up first blood.
It's what you need for Dignitas. The best way to disrupt any of this style of play is to simply get one pick, one kill. It throws off the momentum, the rhythm that you get with a style like this. If you can control rotations, control camps, that's in your favor. But the minute one piece of that falls apart, it makes it that much more difficult. So Dignitas for them, I mean, this is one hero that you can say, okay, I can give up a kill on, but everybody else is such an integral part of the composition that you can't afford to give up those picks.
Fight or flight here, locked in at level 4 for Poik's Raynor. So expecting a little bit of burst. I'm just wondering what the level 10 option is here for the Murky. If we are going to see the March and the Murlocs for extra siege potential, or if it is going to be that true and trusted, which is the Octo grab, one shot, somebody gets deleted, and look to try and get some screams in this crowd.
It very well could be the same way that we saw Heroes Hearth against that of Team Liquid in the previous game against the Lost Vikings. It's like, well, if you're just going to push, there's no way we can keep up with those rotations, so we might just push that down. We might ignore this. So we'll see the approach by Tempo Storm as we're 15 seconds away from this control point for this strategies to start to unfold.
You can see Kettle there going behind enemy lines, looking to deny some of those minion waves. He's going to keep the members of Dignitas distracted with the control point here spawning in the middle of the map. We're going to see how Dignitas set things up here. Although Tempo Storm have a plan in mind, they are down currently half a level.
Yeah, a big part of that murky strategy is just to proxy those minions. It allows your minions to move forward without them being stopped by the minions, the oncoming minions. So you pick up the XP, you deny the control, and it gives that availability as Cattle goes in. We'll use that bubble. Perfectly timed right after that.
So many different minds. If Kettle can bait them into a situation like that, we are looking at a clown fiesta.
Fan, though. Treacherous territory there. Snitch comes out, has that slow, stun's just gonna miss. Barrel roll over the wall will give some safety. 7 picked up by Dignitas as they control here 55%. And that will start to climb as they work towards the first protector.
Now, Jay, how you seem to know that the strat was coming online. When you spoke to these boys, what did they tell you?
I can't tell you the secrets. It's only when it happens, when you see it, you can see the magic unfold. Cattle will try and hold on to the point to deny the protector. Those mines still lurking there, but here's the protector. This is where some of the problems will lie. What do you do if you're Tempo Storm? Because this protector will burn through a lot of these structures, and it does require a heavy defense from several members. They have the wave clear, but now they have to deal with this. Murky will fall again. But Tempo Storm, they have to defend against this, and when you're already a level down, it's only going to get more and more difficult.
This is something we see coming out here more and more nowadays from teams that realize that they have a massive advantage. They don't go for the rotation to the top lane for 2 extra towers. No, they push on through. They grab your towers, they grab your full, and they snipe Falstead from afar. Damn, that was a big dunk.
Well, things escalating quickly as it's almost a 2-level lead. Just 5 minutes in here for Dignitas, and it is a strategy where there's more experience banked in that mid lane, and they'll have the threat of 10. They are playing the correct call here because they get 10 off of that middle lane, and then they'll just be able to threaten either the bottom or the top with that 10-tier advantage. Glaurung taking a lot of damage from Snitch, continuing to proc that Arsenal synergy. Nice concussion mine will knock JPL back, but that is a tanky Diablo trying to survive. Falstad coming in, the biotic emitter used. JPL will get away to safety.
Yeah, JPL did not want to fall on down there. He does have 100 souls, but Glaurung getting picked up in the process. And right now, a perfect game here for Dignitas. 4 kills deserved. The Bardock Meadow goes down, but then it respawns on their doorstep. Heroics are there for them. And based on what we're seeing so far, nothing really out of the ordinary. Ardent defended there for the preventive one-shot measures that could come out from this Murky, as you're predicting. But we are going to see the APOC. No lightning breath this time.
Just a lot of control. I mean, you're a blow-up composition against the team that has no true support. The Abathur is there. It doesn't matter if you kill the Murky. Falstad better hope that he has that barrel roll. Samuro has the clones to play around concussion mine for Junkrat. So you have means of mobility between all of the heroes. It's just a matter of the minute you get locked down once, it's lights out. I mean, you don't recover from that style of play when you dive in with that Diablo.
Tempo Storm soaking here for the level 10 as Cattle still keeps up his strategy of playing around some mines, playing a little bit of hide and seek, but also trying to bait out some members here from the side of Dignitas. Wobby has gone for the Divine Steed at level 7, so looking to try and keep up in that rotation department. Also, it could be a very tall order for him based on the fact of how many globals or how many rotation abilities Tempo Storm do have, but it's going to be the Invader looks to try and take away that turret, and instantly the punishment, the collapse from Dignitas.
Well, just like we mentioned in the analysis part, as Zelia will walk through those mines, is that Dignitas, you're not going to fool them. They are too smart. I mean, yes, it's great. You're running Bribe. They see your rotation out over towards that, and they just position themselves to move forward. We did see Cattle actually claim that, which was good for him. As we're going to see, here we go. It's clone time, and it's time to siege up. That's really all they can do at this point.
He has gone for Blade Master as well. Blade Storm at level 10, so he is looking for some of that team fight aspect as opposed to the Illusion Master, where you want to go fully into this kind of like backdoor strategy that they have deployed right now. There's the tower.
I think that probably surprises me more than anything out of this draft is we don't have the Illusion Master, more the Blade Storm, so
It baffles me, right? Because you've got this idea in mind that you want to split push, you want to try and really play around that aspect, but then you've got the Riptide, which obviously does make sense, but it's this one-shot combo. You're looking for that Gust. It seems a little bit reminiscent of splitting the members apart and going for the kills like this. That's going to be the Hammer Fan getting his flight cancelled and gets deleted in the process before control point B does spawn.
No March of the Murlocs either. I mean, they are playing with heroics the same way that you would see a traditional style play. But Dignitas has thwarted every step of the way. 5 kills to 0. Not a single structure down on the side of Dignitas by Tempo Storm. Well, that's going to get a kill. Murky comes in. Octo grab, Blade Storm out. Wubby, he's on Urel. Very tanky. He'll be able to survive no matter what there as he holds position. Glaurung starts to walk away, but now this is where Illusion Master would be good because Glaurung is going to get tracked down. Remember, you mentioned Divine Steed was picked up, so you don't have that cooldown reduction on your E if you're Wubby, but Glaurung is just in such a difficult spot. It looks like plays are being made elsewhere also.
Buying some time in the bottom lane, but a skirmish does continue in the top lane as Jay holds that point down without any hitch whatsoever. The level 13 talent tier advantage really working in their favor, and also the bottom emitter utilized to ensure that he does stay on that point. And you know, right now, Jay, I'm just looking for that moment, like where does Tempo Storm fully come online? They're going to be playing this very defensive style. They've got this kind of hybrid between their ultimates of, look, we're wanting the team fight, but we do also want to macro. But Dignitas,
it's a mixed bag. It really is a mixed bag. I think we all anticipated Illusion Master coming in, maybe March of the Murlocs to just get through structures, but it's kind of maybe we want to team fight a little, maybe we want to macro a little, and we'll see some of the backdoor strategies, but Protector number 2 picked up. As these go, it continues to scale. Here's the proxying of the wave, and that bottom wave will just allow to push into those structures, but they're getting so far behind structurally that yes, this is a good strategy when it comes to owning a lane, but you're giving up so much for it. Here we go.
You're going to go to the bottom lane right now here with the Samuro. Top lane is still pushing in there with a Triglide Protector, which has already actually gone through the gate, ignoring the other tower on towards that keep, which is down at 75%. Bottom lane still pushing, but Glaurung falls on down as the Purification Server does connect, and Dignitas quite happy with this trade, about to hit level 16, and they're going to get a keep with a mule coming down. Too little, too late.
Yeah, that mule does nothing. The Riptire will come out here, although that actually did not take it down yet. Fan holding position, Zalia staying alive for now. The turret also used, Fan taking damage from that, and now Cattle goes in on the Murky, trying to get some harassment, but with that Hyperion up, that will be enough to confirm the first keep of the game and a 16-13 lead for Dignitas.
3-level difference right now in this game as Tempo Storm unable to find the moment of magic that this draft is looking to achieve. And Dignitas see this is what Tempo Storm are looking to try and do. They want to try and proxy these waves. They want to try and cause some chaos in the map. But Dignitas aren't falling victim to this one. They had this idea in mind. We get the keep. We have that win condition online. Sure, you can go for that push, but we don't mind.
Well, there's another dive, and this is all because structures have fallen. JPL and team will continue to go through. You can see Murky with the Octo grab there, unable to confirm any amount of damage or kill. They also give up the turret in the meantime. Everything that goes down, that's actually Murky egg reveal there. He'll have to wait to put down a new one, but every keep tower that falls, you'll see that experience climb higher and higher for Dignitas to just bully out Tempo Storm of this game. And Tempo Storm right now, they have 0 answers as Dignitas just walks down mid lane with 0 resistance.
Oh, the Gust is going to be used because Fan gets deleted, and Dignitas with conviction coming straight through for the second keep of the game, giving Tempo Storm no breathing room, no chance to unlock the level 16, and more importantly, get that talent here. The defense, it's not achievable. The Gust had to be used. JPL just knew. He knew that was what was going to come across. He knew that they wanted to try and slow down this game and try and get more time for Kettle to do antics like this.
And a perfectly timed owl there on the outside, dodging of the Lunar Flare, but Kato will get the hat. Not willing to chase. It's not worth it. If that's a different hero, maybe, but you let the Murky go. Everybody knows what happens when you chase a Murky. That's never a good thing.
Bottom lane right now. That's where Dignitas have their attention. They have 1 turret, 1 emitter, and 1 turret also on Wubby as well. So item advantage is massively in favor of Dignitas, not to mention the amount of map control that they have. Riptide is going to come across here, looking to try and find some clear. Dignitas are just, they're not phased.
Murky will fall again. Wubby continuing to defend. This is where some of the push can come online. With the walls down, it makes it easier to siege up. Glaurung will try and get out of here. No Illusion Master, it makes it so difficult. Even using Blade Storm to get the unstoppable just to dodge the stun, that is a 110-second cooldown. The inevitable departure out of that seemed impossible.
Doesn't give you extra movement speed, but it is a big cooldown being burnt. Showing a little bit of signs of desperation right now in this game here by Tempo Storm. Currently down 10 kills to 1. And Dignitas about to hit level 20. Only one keep remaining. One fort also in that bottom lane. And conveniently enough, Josh, that's where this next protector spawns.
Well, Dignitas is starting their rotation up, and Fan, he's going to have to barrel roll out, maybe use a gust here, but the stun's going to land. The penetrating round will do some damage, and Fan will fall. And Tempo Storm, they're starting to fall apart. As 20 is here for Dignitas, the protector. As you see the climb in a percentage, the control point, everything in favor of Dignitas, including taking that camp.
The punishment potential is so real. JPL having a very chill game right now. He's just sitting on that point. No pressure and no need to be worried, because you're looking right here, the invaders coming across. Every single member of Dignitas has an item. This turret that's just being picked up, they can't even equip it. They have to actually use some items to acquire some more.
Catapults in 2 lanes. Protector about to be picked up with the 20-tier advantage. It doesn't matter what style of comp you have. The success rate of a level 20 team going down the bot lane with the Protector, actually they can go mid lane at this point. It's incredibly high and almost indefensible. If you look at the composition of Tempo Storm, one more pick and it's all she wrote. Tempo Storm, their last stand is now. They're going for the back door, but this seems too little too late here, Skimmy.
The back door in the top lane, Murky is retreating as well. You got top lane pushing in with a Merc camp, and they're going to go all out towards this core. That's one turret, and a second turret to follow. The Octograb comes across here. Can they get the one shot onto Poik? No, they cannot. Dignitas coming out in game number 1. They will not fall victim to cheese. They will take game, set, like that.
An interesting game, to say the least. I wish there was maybe a better time, a better moment. You come out with these strategies. It's something that you've practiced. It's something you've prepared. But going against the likes of Dignitas, it feels almost impossible in the way that they played and in the way the picks came in for Dignitas. You hate to say like, oh, that's kind of what we expected. But for Tempo Storm, it was clear their strategy. Dignitas, they just had an answer every step of the way.
So Tempo Storm brings out something fun, but it seems like they may have shot themselves in the foot a little bit, especially with the early game. They just did not stretch their opponents in. When you're playing a Murky composition, an Avatar composition, and a Samuro composition, you are intending to frustrate your opponent. You are trying to pull them thin, and that never occurred. Tempo Storm never got their footing down because they died a little bit too much early. I mean, calling out Fan here and Glorong in particular, getting picked off multiple times in that match, it just hurt their comp way too much.
I honestly want to be gracious here, but that was a joke. Like, I seriously don't know what I just watched. That was insane. If they come at me and say later, okay, listen, we misclicked the Blade Storm, then maybe I get it. But you have an Avatar composition with a Samuro, you're trying to backdoor, you have a global that is able to just fly in, help Avatar and also Samuro then to maybe snipe a keep. If you play that style, I kind of get it. But going then into the Blade Storm, playing it also with the Octograb where your opponent on level 1 already picked the spell armor, what are you trying to do? They got farmed the entire game. There was not a single moment when you felt, okay, there is maybe a bit of a chance. I honestly, I expected a lot more from Tempo Storm. I am insanely disappointed right now.
One side, if we see the Hidden Blast come out instead of that Mighty Gust and you go on the full idea of, okay, we auto-grab a target and we blow them up, I could see that maybe starting to pull forward. Now, again, the same point comes to fruition once again. You have to have a strong early game. You have to stretch your opponent thin. You have to make sure that you're even in experience. When you are running that comp, level 13 is your most important power spike. You have Giant Killer coming on, Rejuvenate Bubble, all these things that allow Murky to finally get that ability to finally jump on the back line, and Tempo Storm does not deliver there. So going into game number 2, what do we want to see differently?
A bit more conviction, quite honestly. I want to see some conviction in actually how they play this series, because yeah, based on what we saw there, they had an idea, but I just wonder how much practice went into it. They weren't able to really execute on the idea of what that comp was looking to achieve. They had the gust a few times and getting called out without being able to actually use it. So, you know, you have a shaky early game that transitions into a weak mid game. That power spike that you're looking to achieve just never actually comes into fruition.
Well, we definitely did get a quick game, but we also have a quick word from our sponsors.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA.
All right, Jay Hal, you know Tempo Storm the best. As we get ready for game number 2, what battleground do you want to see from them?
At this point, I'm not 100% sure. They've tried so much during the opening stage that it really makes it hard to analyze this team now. Everything that we saw during league play for 9+ months, going into playoffs almost 10 months, it seemed like everything was figured out. They excel at second pick. They love Dragonshire. They go to this map. It's their favorite battleground. They do so many things well, countering drafts, playing into that second pick role. They said we're comfortable going to wherever other teams want, and they play that. So after the group stage, it seems like a lot of that has just kind of been wiped off the board, and they're like, let's start over. And it's really hard to break down where the strengths lie because it's been everything. And that game in particular, the Heroics, it just felt like they tried to do one thing while also doing the other, and it almost feels like you just need to go down that one path. And I agree with Kaldor in the way that that we anticipated them playing it because we've seen success from that with other teams. We didn't see that. So there's no way to say, hey, we know what they were trying to do until we can actually talk to them and figure that out.
Kaldor, last thought before we go to the battleground?
It just feels they need to stop playing this disrespectful. You can't play into Dignitas like this. It might work against a lesser team, not against Dig. Like again, I repeat myself, group stage, you try the double support, it worked in the region, it's a little bit iffy, and then you measure it up against the international teams. And then at some point you decide, okay, it might work in that context on this map, but you have to adapt a little bit. And the strategy that I still like the most is when they played Macro and Cursed Hollow. That was a good attempt. It's an attempt that is execution heavy because it can never be forced into a fight, and it's tough against a strong opponent like Gen.G or Dignitas. But there's at least a concept behind it that I can look at and I can say, okay, this makes sense. You executed it well. If you do that a little bit better, I can see you win the map. But I look at the last composition, and it's just, as we said, all over the place, and there is no real idea behind it that you can see and that is executed in the gameplay.
Well, let's see if Tempo Storm is going to go back to their roots here as battleground number 2 is ready to be pulled out. Where are we going? It looks like we will be heading to Towers of Doom. Tempo Storm will be having first pick. Dignitas will be having the battleground choice.
Yeah, Dignitas going to be happy with this map pick right here. This once again allows them to play that aggressive style, but also allows them to play the macro, which for the most part they weren't really too punished on. So they're going to have some pocket picks of their own that they can try and run. They've used the Abathur solo support before, trying to dive into the idea of, hey, Tempo Storm, if you get crazy, we can do crazy things as well. So I'm expecting once again to sort of see the idea of a Medivh ban, very standard bans between these two teams, potentially the Abathur ban, but, you know, I can't see a world in which Tempo Storm right now, when they know that they could potentially get eliminated from BlizzCon, go, all right, we're going to play traditional, I say in quote marks, standard. Like, I feel like we're going to still see a lot of experimentation, but maybe tone down at least one dial.
I would expect a more normal game from them. It's a map that they played a lot in League play as well. Dignitas didn't play it as much. The thing is, you want to put off something crazy, for example, that Murky with an Abathur. If your 4-man still loses to your opponent's 4-man, then all they have to do is send one hero to babysit the Murky, and that's it. And I feel like that was a bit of a problem that they had. You need to, at least, if you want to go for these strategies, have a strong 4-man or 3-man that can trade into your opponent. That wasn't the case. But I expect a much more normal game from here then. That might for them mean, again, double support, but less experimental than what we've just seen.
Well, going against Dignitas, it was something I mentioned in the previous series as we get a Tyrande ban. Some excited fans about the normal pick there. But when you go against Dignitas, EU, they prioritize and utilize their solo laner. It's different than the way Korea does it, but you could argue that EU does it better, and they have Wubby, the single best undisputed solo laner in the game. And so for them, the way that they play around that, we already see the prioritization by banning Dahaka, which means that Wubby, their drafter, has an idea of what this team is going to do, and you can never question that. And there's a Zeratul pick, and we saw Snitch on that Zeratul previously, so strong. They also ran it with the Abathur comp themselves. It might just be baiting out a ban in the second ban.
The beauty of the Zeratul pick, too, is it's also interchangeable. You can put it in the top lane, you can also put it on Snitch there, depending on what this team needs exactly for it after they see what Tempo Storm pulls out.
And I mean, you look at this, and the first thought you have is immediately Jaina. You need to take care of her now. You can run into a Void Prison Apocalypse combo, so you need to either ban her out or pick her for yourself. So Tempo Storm should definitely ban her here, or there is a huge wombo potential for Dignitas. But you know, we talked a bit about Wubby, and Wubby is still following a pattern that we've seen in Europe from him. Whenever he gets a chance to pick his Urel, he jumps on Urel, and that we saw that in the last game. The impact that he has with that hero is crazy, and teams have not really shown a lot of respect to that here.
Well, the other thing is that even if Snitch does go down a different route, Wubby is a very good Zeratul player. So they have multiple things that they can do as the priority on that solo laner continues, targeting Glaurung. So no Dahaka, no Malthael, two heroes that we've known Dahaka to play quite a bit. bit. The Abathur band comes out. Now let's see if we get that Jaina to pair with the Zeratul and Diablo, which we saw just a week ago.
And that's such a scary composition. If you see that right there, you're absolutely terrified. And I mean, the Zeratul does also fulfill the role that you would have with that Genji. You got that roam, you got the ability to always scatter information, which is what you're looking to try and achieve with this Medivh. There's a possible world here where Tempo Storm don't run a traditional support as such and go to Tyrande and Tassadar. I don't want to say it's going to happen, but there's a part of me that goes, look, you need some kind of response to the Zeratul, otherwise he's just going to run rings around you.
Right, so we don't have the Jaina right away. That Jaina setup, by the way, is also what Dignitas ran on this particular map.
Yep.
Back then it was an Abathur solo support, so the Abathur ban on the side of Tempo Storm at least eliminates that. The problem is if you have the Zeratul on the other side, then Abathur, of course, emphasizes the danger that he brings to any lane even more so. And if you then have a strong top laner, you can easily turn that into a 1 versus 3 if he rotates over. But there's still the opportunity for the burst damage in the adjustment towards the end.
Wow.
Oh my.
Well, there's some lost Vikings. Again, we know that they're very strong on Towers of Doom, or they used to be. See if we get the Viking Hunter, because Jaina does pair well with Malfurion because of the Innervate. It doesn't even matter who this last pick is, because the way that Zeratul roams around, the best way to deal with Vikings is to have a Viking Hunter. Zeratul is one of the absolute best Viking Hunters you have.
He's so good because as a Viking player, you stare at the minimap the entire time, and if he's able to get that jump on you, he's going to pick you off, and you're not getting those region globes, and of course that soak. Now, with that being said, I like this draft from Tempo Storm. First off, we know that Vikings are great on Towers of Doom, but you have kill potential available for you. You have a strong 4-man. This is doable by them, but then again, it's Dignitas.
Also, that Vikings into the Zeratul kind of reminds me a little bit of BlizzCon last year.
Roll 20.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't really work well back then. But I agree with you that that draft is at least a lot better. You have a strong 4-man that can really get the kills. You can lead with an Arthas. The carrying a combo with Arthas existed for ages, 2015 already. Got nerfed since then with how much synergy they have, but it's still a great setup. So you can definitely get your kills here with the Tyrande on top of that too. The Vikings are fantastic to also get the altars, put the pressure onto the lanes. So from that aspect, I like it a lot more. But then again, you look towards Dignitas and there's a good combo potential, and you also have that Zeratul that can hunt down the Vikings.
And I mean, my only final concern there, Caldor, though, is you got the Sergeant Hammer coming in as that final 5th pick, and that is that surprise factor, right? You're thinking, look, how do I actually get threatened here if I'm Sergeant Hammer? You know, you're trying to bait out this ability coming out from Arthas or from Kerrigan. There's no real gap closer. Usually we send a Medivh to try and get these immobile tanks into that range. So you're looking at a situation right now where you're thinking, okay, Sergeant Hammer can sit back fine, she can poke from afar, she can do what she needs to do, and Zeratul can go around the map. So look, we're now winning that 4-man, and now we're also taking out your XP that you're trying to soak. And once again, it just feels like Tempo Storm are like, we've been drafted into a bit of a narrow corridor.
I mean, you don't even have to send the Blaze top lane. You can literally just like double soak with the Zeratul. You can have the Blaze together with the Hammer, and then how do you react into that 4-man? You get the bunker out whenever the engage comes. You have Hammer also with a space creation there, so just pushing your opponent back. So you can play it around that, and Zeratul gets the double soak plus the Vikings.
I feel like the Kerrigan has to be on point here. She is going to be stressed out because of that Sergeant Hammer. Let's go ahead and go into game number 2 and see if Tempo Storm can send us to a game number 3.
Tempo Storm will be the last hope here for North America. Skimmy, quite a unique draft in game number 1. More to the standard, but with the X factor, not the XYZ factor that we saw in the last game.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy alphabet game, I'll tell you that much. We saw some wild picks and some wild drafts, but also some wild strategies. Not too sure what we're going to see coming out of this one, if it's going to be enough shabam when you have your life on the line here in a North American crowd here at BlizzCon. Fan looking to I suppose, jump into that experience from 2015 and say, now is that time for it to empower me.
Just picking up a win against the likes of Dignitas would be so big for them. We'll see as they get ready in just a moment.
On the left-hand side from Europe, it's JPL on Diablo. Wooby on Blaze, Poik here on Sergeant Hammer, Snitch on Zeratul, and finally, Zalia on Malfurion. And this is your team here, it's Dignitas.
All hands on deck here for Tempo Storm as it's going to be June on Tyrande. Vin will be on Raynor, giving him the pepper. Caterpillar on the front line. The Arthas has been very known lately. Fan will be on the Kerrigan, and Glaurung will be on the Lost Vikings. Give it up for Tempo Storm.
Really curious to see how Tempo Storm play this early game. It'll be a big tell of their confidence, their stress levels right now.
Well, the strategy for Dignitas in the draft really played out. They took away a lot of the diving, and as you mentioned, Skimmy, it's like, how do you get onto that back line? Poik with a nice knockback, the Kerrigan combo, the leap back in. There's going to be the stun, the roots, the heals, not enough. That's first blood for Tempo Storm.
Beautiful pickup there from Tempo Storm. This is what we need to see from them. It looks so good from Poik there with the concussive blast to get out of harm's way, but the fan jump comes across, he ravages him. And that's what we want to see, bouncing between these lanes, really looking to exude some kind of, hey, we're here to play, we're not afraid of you.
For Dignitas, that 1 minute mark has passed. With the Vikings, you're able to hold one member in that top lane, so it's no longer that priority of getting that solo laner down. You can already see Wubby making his way down to that mid lane. He wants to be in quick rotation in case of Tempo Storm coming in for that flank. And Cattle, they're very familiar with that style themselves. Cattle will thwart off the Blaze, but they will concede the Sapper camp for now, as Dignitas and Tempo Storm both pick those up early.
So what we're seeing so far is a 3-lane split with these Vikings. This allows Tempo Storm to respond with this 4-man by just going to any lane and never feeling threatened. This does obviously require Glaurung to be very disciplined with his ability to micromanage all of these. But you're going to see it's this 4-man rotation they come across. If CC lands, things will go across. But if it doesn't land, there is pressure on the other side as Dignitas can turn this fight around and then can look to get some kills of their own.
Well, Cattle is in deep. He's trying to survive, but that's going to be first kill here for Dignitas as they even up the scoreboard. Take a small lead momentarily.
Bit of execution really in the court here for Tempo Storm. Very predictable what their composition is looking to try and do. It's either opening up there with a Howling Blast or you want to go in with that Kerrigan combination. If that lands, then somebody will die. If they can't get in range, if they cannot land it, the threat, the punishment potential that Dignitas can come across with as a result is very strong. And so far, the pressure that we're looking to see from the Zeratul.
Zeratul just passed by there. Fan, he knows he can't use that combo because there is a blink available. For Tempo Storm, they have multiple forms of CC, or at least range CC when it comes to the root from Arthas, but also the stun from Tyrande. If you can force out one of those self-unstoppables by Sergeant Hammer, then you can look to follow up and dive and maybe get that. It just requires a lot of luck, a very good positioning, and some execution. Nature's Cure is a post CC ability. Snitch starting to path through. Cattle not able to get the root there.
I do have one Viking in the bottom lane. It is going to be Eric looking to try and be nimble and aggressive, but he does get taken out, so no defense when it comes to that one. Looks to be so far. But Dignitas will pick up one here. As long as Tempo Storm can pick up two, they still are in a very healthy spot. Cattle dropping low. Does have the heals and does have to disengage as Tempo Storm still chasing on through.
Well, Sergeant Hammer still showing at the bottom. Tempo Storm, they're actually going to concede this top left. Not willing to take that fight. They don't want to give up too much in the macro game because the Vikings, as good as they are at soaking, they're not good at defending when people are sieging up on structures. You can see that bottom wall already down due to the work of Poik on that Sergeant Hammer. So Tempo Storm, they're willing to slow things down, wait for the long game, find moments, find opportunities as we see another route come in there from Cattle. But the lead's starting to mount for Dignitas here in the early game.
Dignitas hitting level 7 right now. 12 stacks here on the level 1 talent for Blaze. We have New Habits looking to give him that unstoppable, which would be so damn important, especially for being able to utilize that jet propulsion to give yourself some peeling potential to really try and protect Poik here on that Sergeant Hammer, but also ensuring that that bunker, when it does come down, when it is needed, is available.
Just everything that Wubby does, playing around the vision, playing around there, it's hard to get on to a target like that. We're going to see Snitch continue to harass, disrupt the rotations, because for Dignitas, it's a matter of, that's nice. We still have this double lane soak from our Blaze, and now we're going to clear that bot lane, and we're going to push forward. They have these sappers here continuing to make plays, and it's very easy to make this when you have that double lane soak potential. They move forward, and that 4 takes damage.
What's interesting is we haven't seen Snitch here go for a big focus on trying to take down these Vikings. It's all about looking to get vision, looking to try and snipe out where Tempo Storm are going for, predicting the next move, being proactive as opposed to being reactive and saying, yes, you do have the Vikings, but we're prepared to let you get a grace in another lane as long as we can beat you in your 4-man.
Well, this gank squad for Tempo Storm, it's threatening, but the mobility from Snitch, he's made all the right plays, keeping them dancing, keeping them guessing. Will continue to dodge another, just staying mounted. Tempo Storm, they're struggling to find that. Snitch comes in. Now that he has Wormhole, he's like, good luck, boys. Your CC is not fast enough as he'll come in, get the Wormhole in, get the cleave, and drop right back out.
Two ults available this time. Poik is still in the bottom lane with the hover mode, looking to try and keep some pressure. And as you mentioned, really pressure. One of the weaknesses of the Vikings here, which is those turrets are gone. Can we get a bell tower? Can we get some extra shots when it comes to this next ulti phase? But both have gone, and it is still tied at 4 for 4, although Dignitas are in a slight lead.
Wubby's trying to track down Glaurung. Will get the slow, just allowing Snitch to get in here. They're trying to get the kill, but the tower still remains, as do the minions. Not willing to commit those resources there. But now, after you've got those rotations out, now you're looking to threaten those Vikings one by one. As the game goes on, those depth timers get longer. And so look for Snitch to start looking for those picks onto each one of those in rotations if they can make it happen. Another blink out. Snitch wormholes back in, trying to make the play. They're getting the track down. Fan taking damage. Pyromania used, and Wubby forced to retreat.
He forced to retreat right there. That would have been a very good fight for Tempo Storm. They could have got that kill just before level 10, denying Dignitas that lead that they have acquired. But these XP differences are bang on with only one killer piece, and Poik staying pretty in this bottom lane. He is not allowing any grace, saying, sure, you can have some push in the top lane, but at least two of these lanes have to be pressured by us.
Poik getting the heck out of dodge there. There was the stun, and he used those thrusters to get out of there, and rightfully so. But the damage starting to mount in that bottom lane. Once they get that, it is easier for Tempo Storm because they can keep the Vikings in the other lanes, use the big 4-man to try and get down there. You have Raynor there, but it does give you that potential to regain structures, but you don't want to lose them in the first place. It's inevitable at this point. Wubby almost getting caught out. Jet propulsion, Fan making the plays, getting the jump. Bunker used, they're trying to get the track down. There's going to be the jump again, but the slow is enough, and Fan not able to make up ground, and that is what makes Wubby so great. Calm under pressure.
So calm right there. The jet propulsion to dodge out the Howling Blast, and instantly the response there with the bunker. Cool as you can be. Not a care in the world. And if we take a quick look at some of the ultimates that have been chosen here at level 10, we do have the Napalm Strikes. Not going to go for the BFG, the instant blow-up potential for that counter engage. They want extra sustain, as well as that Tranquility. Twilight Dream, I'm not really phased about that one. They want to make sure that they have armor, health, and the ability to turn things around.
Well, this is what you want to see. If you can take control of this top lane for Tempo Storm, the Vikings can hold these lanes much easier, and you can get damage done in the other lanes. Tempo Storm with a strategy. It's going to be difficult to pull off against the likes of Dignitas, but they do get that top fort down. We'll give them some control. Now the gank squad starting to rotate down. Dignitas got some early damage in that mid lane as that climb, but they also gain control of the bottom bell tower in the bottom right.
As you say, it is a trade there, 1 for 1. Dignitas still in the lead with shot count by 8. And Poik still showing no signs of release. He's been in his bot lane for the entire time, really keeping Glaurung in check, saying you have to micromanage these Vikings as well as you can. And well, we're going to find some aggression here, but not going to be concerned by the combo, as it is just Fan on his own.
Wubby juking left and right. Snitch lurking around, trying to look for a play of his own. Tempo Storm has started to take a minor lead in terms of XP. It's just a matter of the long play for them as he'll come forward, get the auto attack proc there. Snitch continuing to harass this team. And remember, Zeratul gets higher and higher at 16. He gets that burst damage. That backline is not exactly the strongest. They are very susceptible to some counter dive for Snitch to make those big plays.
Two more orders spawning here in 25 seconds as both teams are still stuck in a stalemate of 4 or trading out. Tempo Storm looking to get aggressive here in the bottom lane. Trying to do a bit of a wraparound. They've caught out Poik. He might be in a situation. Frusters had to be burnt on very quickly, but he retreats to the bell tower. The Howling Blast does not connect, but Snitch may have found some aggression himself.
Well, he's trying to get on there. There's going to be the dive over the VP. It's isolated. Fan, he's not able to survive. Another play made there. There's going to be the APOC follow-up. Icebound Fortitude will buy Cattle some time, but they get the counter kill onto Snitch on that Zeratul. Perfect execution on that first play. But Dignitas still getting this first channel, and with that bottom one, then that bottom concave, it's going to make it hard for Tempo Storm to contest that.
A 1-for-1 trade, but still two very impactful ultimates across the board from both of these teams. The bunker, the Tranquility, defense is the name of the game here for Dignitas to try and respond to what is going to come across here from the side of Tempo Storm. But despite this, Tempo Storm find themselves in a situation where they do have the XP lead, but their core is down at least double. And
Vikings top have the bribe, and that's going to help them control that bottom or that top lane. That buys a significant amount of time. Wubby can defend that, but it almost handcuffs him there unless Dignitas is willing to give some of that up. So now Tempo Storm, they'll look to get the invade. They know that they have that top lane occupied, and now they're going to look to reclaim this bottom lane or get some control for now. So Tempo Storm, they do find themselves down 32-16, but their long-term strategy, is it too long-term for them to come back in this game?
And it's interesting because, you know, reading Snitch's interview when he was discussing with Genji's Rich about Tempo Storm, he was saying they were quite upset about the fact that Tempo Storm recently have been known for just trying to avoid team fights. They just want to macro, they just want to try and keep lane pressure. They want to try and do anything but team fights, despite having a composition which looks on paper designed to get kills. No, they are more focused on macro, more focused on the ability to try and micro manage this map.
Well, they'll take another bell tower, but they have to get down to this bottom lane to defend. Dignitas will push forward with these sappers. And the reclamation of that top lane by Wubby, continuing to thwart Tempo Storm, who will give up the sappers in exchange for those 4 shots from the... Actually, they're not even going to boss here.
No bots, they want level 16. They spot Wubby in the mid lane. Are we going to see a dive here from Fano? They're going to switch on towards Snitch. But then the bait right there on towards Snitch.
Oh my!
Even a block there with Zeratul falling on down. The bunker comes across, but Wubby a little bit too late. And that was a beautiful little bit of finesse where they jump in, go one way, flick it to the other way, and Snitch caught off guard.
Van made that play on Infernal Shrines during the playoffs. A similar play, you dive one way, you go the other. The unstoppable used by Poik. Wubby comes in. Remember, bunker was used in that last fight. Cattle and team looking for a fight. They get the lockdown onto Wubby. Pyromania used. Wubby starting to track out. JPL zoning for now. Glaurung gets interrupted by Zelia with that Moonfire. Glaurung trying to make plays on the backside. Skimmy.
DP and APOC are still available for Dignitas, whereas on the other hand, you're looking at some ultimate that aren't available. That's what Tempo Storm need. They have basic abilities, basic combinations, and you can see that they understand that this is not a winning trade. Despite having that massive lead with level 16, they actually had to sacrifice more shots onto an already very weakened core.
They can't continue to do that. I mean, they're going to have to start taking some of these fights. They got the initial pick, which was a fantastic play, but they have to do more. The top bell tower under assault. That will fall momentarily, but Dignitas has retaken that middle one there on the left side. You can see that Dignitas trying to keep up with the rotations, but Skimmy, they are down to 9 shots left on their core.
Scary times right now if you're a Tempo Storm fan, and I'm sure nobody else but them themselves feel that pressure. They understand that on a stage like this, they need some cheers. It's been a very quiet game with only 5 kills across the board, but Cattle's going to find some aggression. He sidesteps the jet propulsion there from Wubby's Blaze, but there is no objective for these teams to contest over. This is literally aggression on the rotation.
Tempo Storm will keep their attention towards the middle again. They actually sniffed out that the camp was being picked up. Poik and JPL zoning off here will continue to shell away, but Tempo Storm, they're looking for the 6 cap, the ultimate control if they can. JPL goes in, they get the flip back. JPL won't be in defense, but Wubby goes in, Starfall down in response, but that's going to be 1 Viking down, but then they turn their attention to Fan. That's going to be 1, then we'll make it 2 as Arthas falls right after.
Everything burnt right there by Tempo Storm to try and stay alive, but it's just not going to be enough, and you can just see the amount of dominance that Dignitas had in that team fight. Despite being down a small lead in NXP, they can still hang on to the Void Prism. They can still hang on to the Tranquility. They had so much commanding pressure.
This might be it, Skimmy. I mean, this is 6 sappers pushing bottom. You don't have much in the way of defense. Snitch goes in, trying to make the plays. JPL going in, the sappers as they make their way through. There's 1, there's 2. They're down to 7 shots. The boss is available. That's 6 now, 3 pushing through. This will be 4 shots, and Dignitas has so much available to try and end this game. Tempo Storm, they're letting that through, and now it all comes down to this altar.
This altar or this boss is one or the other. JPL jumps in right there. They're going to clap on towards Olaf. Olaf and Eric full on down. 1 Viking to rule them all. Can that be what they need? Can that be what they have as a Void Prism is used in the backline? Balog falling as well. And the play again has to come across as this channel is going through.
Dignitas has done it. They have taken down Tempo Storm and made their way with a date with Destiny in the round of 4. Tempo Storm will fall out of the tournament behind a lost Vikings comp that did not hold the longevity game there, and Dignitas just showing why they are one of the best and one of the favorites here at BlizzCon.
So it's a fan favorite when EU go up against NA, and we had it back-to-back with both series having their own quirks and having their own bits of interest, but at the end of the day, Tempo Storm do bow out. We will see 2 European teams advancing on through to the semi-finals, and Dignitas, despite whatever was thrown at them, they are well versed during the regular season and did not look strained or stressed for 1 moment in this series right here.
It really just feels like they have the answer to everything. They draft well, they macro well, individual mechanics. just insane for this team. They really are one of the best, and you know, it's an interesting series. It's hard to really gauge too much from this, but they still find a victory, and that's what really matters as they move forward. The round of 4, that's where you want to be, that's where you expect to be. We've heard from Snitch, they expect to be there, so things are there, Trick.
The question, I suppose, really is, though, what are we seeing from Dignitas? Is this a Dignitas that look strong enough to go up against Gen G? You know, Gen G didn't have the hardest run up against the one to start this day off with. But then Dignitas here, quite honestly, didn't look too pressured by Tempo Storm. So we've had arguably 2 very easy openers for them. Are these 2 contenders that we're going to see day 2 for the finals?
I guarantee you, they were so calm, so collected behind all of that, and we actually can hear from them as Kevin sitting by with Snitch.
That's right, Jay Howe. I'm here with Snitch from Dignitas. Congratulations on the crispy play here in round of 8. Interesting drafts there from Tempo Storm. Was that the tempo you expected here in round of 8, or were you expecting something a little bit different?
Honestly, it's a little disappointing. I think Tempo are very skilled mechanical players, and to have the series go this way, I think we all feel a little bit sad about it. I think we kind of expected them to play a little bit more standard, maybe give us a tougher fight. But they definitely, you know, they tried something unique. Maybe they felt like it was their only hope, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, it obviously didn't work for them, so definitely appreciate the thoughts there. Now, round of 4, you're going to be up against one of the victors of Tempest versus Miracle. We know you had the victory over Tempest in the group stage. Who are you looking to match up there in the round of 4? Is it Tempest, Miracle? Who would you favor?
I don't think we really have a preference. I think both of them are very skilled teams. Obviously, we defeated Tempest in the group stage, so maybe we already have an edge over them. But I think, you know, Miracle very talented, Tempest are very talented just in their roles and, you know, the players themselves. And obviously, they're from Korea, so we have to respect that. But yeah, I think both teams are very, very strong, and I think whichever one comes will be a very tough match.
Awesome, I love the confidence. I had the chance to ask Rich earlier in the hypothetical for the grand finals who we would prefer to see. He definitely called out Dignitas. Is that what you'd like to see, the Gen G Dignitas final, or would you prefer all EU with Team Liquid? What are your thoughts there?
I mean, Rich is kind of overrated, so playing against him again would be kind of a waste of time. So it'd be really exciting to have an all-EU final, so I think I'm rooting for Team Liquid to make it, you know. Tough luck, Rich, but maybe next year.
Love it, love it. That's Snitch for you guys. Congratulations on this victory here, round of 8. We're headed back to the desk.
Regardless, no matter what we get in the grand finals, we are shaping up an amazing tournament so far. Dignitas will be in the lower half of the semifinals tomorrow, and we, of course, have one more match coming up next. But Tempo Storm, let's focus on them. For the 3rd year in a row, North America will not be having a team in the semifinals. But I will say, this Tempo Storm that we saw on Towers of Doom, that is the Tempo Storm that I want to see.
It really felt like they were close, but yet so far at the same time. I don't really know how everybody kind of views this team. Game 1, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of critics out there that will break that game, you know, left and right. The second game, you know, they came in, they played for the long game. It just seemed like that long game never got there because Dignitas won't let you have it.
The second game was a lot better, in my opinion, than the first one. And one of the main reasons why I'm so disappointed is because I think this team is strong enough to give Dignitas a much better run for their money. And that just didn't happen there. But Towers of Doom was at least a map. You can play the Vikings here. They had a strong foreman, there's skill potential. You have the problem that you go up against Dignitas, and they're just really tough to take down. But the strategy was there, and I like that a lot. Map 1, on the other hand, that's where I just couldn't see, okay, what are you even trying to do here? We talked about the old choices. Yeah. But game 2, way more of a success story that it could have been if they get maybe a kill against Dig at some point. They already had the lead in experience. If you can snowball that somehow, you have a chance there.
Well, we will be seeing more at Dignitas tomorrow in the semifinals, so look out for that. But up next, Tempest will take on Miracle.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA. Check out the new Blizzard Esports mobile app. For the first time ever, all Blizzard Esports content can be found in one place. Get the latest news and schedules for your favorite events all year long. Set alerts for tune-in reminders so you can watch live, and check scores to stay up to date. You can even tailor the look of the app to match your favorite game, and look forward to even more features coming in 2019. Download the Blizzard Esports mobile app now.